Welcome to the Safewards training for positive words. This training package will cover the aims of the intervention and provide some suggestions for how you can implement positive words on your ward. Handovers are virtually the only place where the nursing team alone gets together and discusses each patient who is on the ward. They have a critical organisational function, making sure that the oncoming shift of nurses knows what has been happening, what the main risks are, what new patients have been admitted, and what has to happen in the following shift. However, in their report of what has happened during the shift, they will often focus on exceptional behaviour. That is, the behaviour of patients which is difficult to manage or which presents risk to the patients or others. As such, they may promote a negative perception of patients. In order to balance that natural tendency, we suggest that something positive is said about each patient at the handover, and that when difficult behaviour is described, potential psychological explanations are also offered. This will promote the positive appreciation of patients and reduce the likelihood of further conflict. When giving handover, staff should say something positive about what each patient has been doing during the shift, or draw attention to some positive quality they have, or if this has not been possible, something positive about the way in which staff supported the patient. In addition, if any difficult or disruptive behaviour is reported, a possible psychological understanding of the patient's behaviour must be offered. We will now show you an example of a typical handover.
Yeah, can you chase up the forms that were sent to the benefits office?
Yeah, no problem.
He was asking about that earlier. I don't have time for it this morning.
Yep.
Okay, next. Emma Oliver, Amber Zone, Section 3, no leave. Reports from the night shift. Supper meds, slept well, got up at 4 AM requesting tea, was given a drink and went to bed with no prompting. AM shift, refused breakfast, had meds, depot due on Thursday, spent time in OT. Visible in day area, had lunch and currently in bed sleeping, no problems. Next up we have Maria Smith, Red Zone, Section 2. She was transferred from Ward A last week following numerous altercations with staff. Maria's been hostile and aggressive since her admission, refusing to take meds, disruptive throughout the night, accusing staff of stealing her things. Was given IM with limited effect but remains hostile and irritable. It's been a bit of a pain in the arse really. Has been pacing on the ward all morning, had breakfast and lunch but sat alone and refused to engage, continues to refuse meds, is due to see Dr Jones at ward round this afternoon.
That probably looks and sounds quite familiar. Let's go back and see what a difference using positive words can make.
And can you chase up the forms that were sent to the benefits office? He was asking about them earlier this morning, I don't have time. Emma Oliver, Section 3, no leave. Night shift staff reported Emma had her supper, took her meds and slept well. Got up at 4 AM, had tea and went back to bed. On the AM shift, Emma missed her breakfast but had her meds. James fed back that she engaged positively during the OT art class. She created a painting and helped clear up at the end.
Oh, fantastic.
This is the first time Emma stayed till the end of the group, which is great to hear. She's hung up the painting in the OT room if anyone wants to see her. After the class, she was in the day area, had her lunch and is currently sleeping in bed. There's been a marked improvement in her moods at this shift. Next up we have Maria Smith, Red Zone, Section 2. She was transferred from Ward A last week following numerous altercations with staff. Maria was disruptive throughout the night, accusing staff of stealing her things. She's refused meds for over 12 hours and last night she was given IM with limited effect. She had breakfast and lunch but sat alone, remaining irritable and refuses to engage. What we need to keep in mind is that due to the difficulties that Maria experienced on Ward A, she finds it hard to trust staff, so she comes across as quite hostile. But on the few occasions I've managed to sit with her, she's been very responsive, so we should work on building that trusting relationship to improve engagement.
Here are some suggestions for your handover from our service user group and research team. Some past achievement of the patient prior to admission or prior to illness, display of a positive personality trait, an achievement during the shift, engagement in an activity during the previous shift, something they have improved at doing, demonstrating patience with others, endurance and courage, seemed to be coping with things better, had a really good conversation with me, managed to say something, was getting on well with other patients.